Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your July 2018 mid-month general readings. Thank you so much for joining us and welcome any newcomers. And thanks for all your support, feedback, and comments, and your shares and subscribes and likes. And also to my clients out there, regular and new, thank you for keeping me so continuously busy with personal readings. It's an honor and a pleasure to read for all of you. Thank you. If any of you are interested in a personal reading, you can find all the info and contact details by clicking on the little About button on my YouTube channel or clicking on the description bar of all the videos I post. You can email me directly at maggie1maguire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to work with you. Turnaround time is pretty fast for personal readings because it's what I do exclusively 5 to 6 days a week, so I can usually get back to you within the same day or the first 24 hours of your initial contact. I do a wide variety of readings in all areas of life, including 6 and 12-month look-ahead overviews and channeled messages too, and gift readings as well. Okay, let's move right into this reading. Oh, also for those of you who like to utilize the smartphone, iPhone, iPad app Instantgo, you can also find me there under Irish Gypsy. That link is also provided. That's pretty good for quick answers to the quick, easy questions. So if you're interested, you can reach me there as well. All right, so this reading is for the water sign of Scorpio for the last 2 weeks, the last half of July 2018. So let's see what's in store for our Scorpions for the remainder of July 2018. Okay, Scorpio. We begin with the Sun, best card to begin with, followed by the Hanging Man. We have the Chariot, wow, followed by the Four of Cups, and from the bottom of the deck, the Knight of Wands. Pretty fast-moving energy for the remainder of July. Your crowning card, the Knight of Wands. Wands is fire energy, and this is very fast-moving energy, and it's creative, inspirational, change, movement, powerful energy. Knights usually represent offers or opportunities, something coming into you or something, an opportunity being placed in front of you. And it can just represent the speed at which a situation moves. This knight is the fastest of all four of the knights because he's governed by the element of fire. Very fast moving, charging ahead, spontaneous energy. So that's kind of the energy and focus around the remainder of July. I'm actually going to pull a clarifying card for him because I'm curious. Clarifying card is the Five of Swords, which represents a hard-won victory, a victory which has taken quite a bit. This man has just finished a challenge, a fight of some kind, and his opponents or foes are defeated. He's gathered up all their swords and he's holding his own aloft in victory, but he looks tired, worn out, exhausted, bleeding from a little cut on his forehead. This is a battle which has cost quite a bit. It hasn't been an easy victory. Sometimes the accompanying question is something worth it, or has something been worth it, or is something worth fighting? Because sometimes the people on the ground behind him can represent a victory which comes at the cost of personal relationships. So sometimes the answer is yes, and sometimes it's no. But what I'm kind of feeling here, especially based on the energy for the remainder of July, just kind of, it's like you've been through a lot, you've overcome a lot, and you are just just kind of surging ahead. You are just manifesting the energy of the Knight of Wands, even though you're water sign. For some of you, this could be a fire sign individual that's also significant in the remainder of July. Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. Very strong, powerful, fast-moving energy. It's like, yeah, I get the sense that you've been through something difficult, challenging. You've overcome a lot. Some of that might be your own personal stuff. And you are refusing to let it drag you down. You are refusing to, I'm getting this phrase, hang on the cross any longer. And you are just like blowing through it all. You're overcome and you are just charging ahead. Because your primary cards for the remainder of July are the Sun and the Chariot. two major arcana cards. Now, the Sun is the most powerfully positive, influential card in the tarot, in my opinion, because when you think about the Sun, when the Sun comes out, it shines over everything. It affects everything. It's life, love, warmth, laughter. It's fun. It's social times. It represents an uplifting of energy. Everybody always feels better when the Sun comes out. It's like darkness into light, sickness into health, winter into spring, sadness into joy, restrictive energies loosening or lifting. And there's a sense of transparency around the Sun. You can't hide when the Sun comes out. Beautiful energy, and right next to it is the Chariot, which is one of the most, if not the most powerful success card in the tarot. It's success that comes from being ambitious, driven, perseverance, determination. This is winning because you refuse to give up no matter what you have to do, staying focused on your goals, not letting anything kind of get in your way, refusing to admit defeat, moving forward and not stopping until you reach what you want, which is what I'm getting from your overall energy, that Knight of Wands and the Five of Swords, you know, having overcome something quite difficult, been through quite a challenge, quite a battle. And of course, since it's a general reading, the intensity and details are going to vary, but the energy and advice fundamentally remains the same. So you're charging ahead, and what it's overcoming, I mean, what clarifies the Sun is the Hanging Man, which can be a sense of stasis, of limbo, of hanging back and waiting to see how things happen, letting things play out without involving yourself, maybe taking a quieter, more self-sacrificing approach. I think that you are done with that. You are blowing right past that energy, and probably really enjoying yourself quite a bit in the last half of July. That Hanging Man clarifies the Sun, and I feel like the time for passivity for a lot of you, quietness, self-sacrifice, not that those things are bad, you know, moderation in all things, but I feel like there's been enough of that and you are done. It's kind of like, I went through a lot of stuff, I battled a lot of stuff. Some of what you battled was inside yourself, but if there's been conflict with other people, you're like, look, I've made mistakes, I've owned up for them, I've atoned for them, I've paid for them, I'm done. I'm moving ahead quite quickly. I'm overcoming this sense of, you know, poor me and just hanging back. What clarifies that powerful, successful Chariot card is the Four of Cups. It's kind of like the opposite energy of the Chariot. The Four of Cups represents feeling maybe emotionally disconnected. The shine has worn off something. Maybe feeling a little restless and wanting something different than what you have, although what you have looks, you know, just fine. But not feeling motivated enough to get up and kind of be action-oriented or intentional in making the changes for yourself. And it can also represent not feeling a sense of gratitude for what you have, but really feeling emotionally disconnected. But, you know, it's clarifying the Chariot, so accompanying the Chariot. And again, you know, no card is a standalone. You have to, it's like a family. They interact with each other, so you have to look at it as a whole as well as the individual. You know, classic definitions of the cards. So whatever it is you've been through recently, you've struggled with, you've wrestled with, I think with other people and yourself as well, maybe hanging back, being passive, allowing yourself to kind of, you know, for those of you, I get the sense that for those of you who have maybe made some mistakes and maybe those mistakes affected or hurt other people, I feel like you let yourself be, you know, kind of whipped about it enough. And you're like, I feel like it's boundary setting. It's like, okay, I'm moving on from this. I'm moving through this and away from this. This time for hanging back and being passive and feeling disconnected and waiting. I'm moving through this. I'm not waiting anymore. I'm not allowing myself to suffer in the same place anymore. I'm blowing through and I'm moving through. It's a victorious, successful feeling. Yeah, very powerful feeling. The only thing that I'm getting is cautionary advice. Be careful about the speed with which you move through this, because it feels like some of this is motivated by maybe you stayed in this passive or self-sacrificing or self-punishing phase too long because of other people. And part of what's motivating you ahead is that you've had enough, so that there's a bit of a thread of anger in there as well. Which is understandable, but don't feed that anger, because it could cause you to move ahead in a way that maybe is too forceful. Just make sure you don't kind of run over people, you know, in your we can set boundaries with people, particularly people we care and love about, but we can set those boundaries in a compassionate and loving way as well. So just kind of keep that in mind too, Scorpio. So Scorpio, that pretty much wraps up your July 2018 mid-month readings. Thank you so much for the opportunity to read for you. I hope you found it helpful and useful. Again, if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, you can get that info and details by clicking on the About button on my YouTube channel's homepage, and also by clicking on the description bar of the videos that I post. You can email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com and be quite happy to work with you and set up a reading as quickly as possible. You can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks, Scorpio, for the August 2018 general readings. And until then, as always, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Take care. Bye-bye.